Back in the mid to late 90s, Rutherford was one of the most dominant programs across all of Northwest Florida. The Dolphins are one of the area's hottest teams at this point, now 3-0, undefeated, and coming off a bye week. Day one of Colts camp is in the books, and coming up later on in sports, I'll let you know who was on the field and who wasn't. Some of them trickled in later on around the 2 o'clock deadline, but everyone we talked to is excited to be back in Terre Haute. Now, Scott, it was just pointed out to me that I almost look like a Mosley coach with this green and the orange there, but that's not the case. We will be here all night, though, have highlights and hopefully some post-game from Coach Brown coming up tonight at 10. It's 4 days till race day over in Indy, where the teams are preparing for the greatest spectacle in racing. And I caught up with one of the top dogs on one of the top teams, only to find out he had Wabash Valley roots. It's been a day with the Dolphins, though. I know you want to talk about the Dolphins.
March 27th, 2007. That's the day when Luke Rowell's life changed forever. Rowell was a sophomore at Chipley High School and an up-and-comer on the football team. Sitting on his couch before a morning workout, he collapsed with a brain aneurysm, and his football career was over.
The doctor was very blunt. He was very kind of straightforward. He came to me and said, you know, this is the way it's going to be. You won't be playing football ever again. That's how he addressed it.
Something Rowell surely didn't want to hear.
It hurt. I mean, I went to the psychiatrist at that time, and she said to give it 1 day. I mean, to let you mourn over it 1 day, and after that, you know, be done with it.
And that's exactly what he did. His football career may have been over, but Luke was cleared by doctors to play non-contact sports.
After his little medical issue, he came back and more or less just hung around a little bit, and then finally he came out last year and said, Coach, I'm going to play golf. My dad and some of his good friends golf, and so I got into it. Like, I just kind of slowly worked my way into it. I've only been playing for a year and a half, so I'm really not that good, but I try.
As a quarterback, Rowell was a leader on the field, and Coach Holloway says it translates directly to his golf game as well.
He exactly does the same thing here. Guys, come on, let's go. It's a natural leadership that the young man has.
Luke Rowell lost a lot on that March day. He lost his dream of football, but through all of this, Luke found something too. Something more important than a sport. Luke Rowell found himself. In Chipley, Tim Owens, News Channel 7 Sports. Back in 2005, Marquez Gilstrap was playing his college ball at Palm Beach Junior College before suffering what some thought might be a career-ending knee injury. Fast forward 3 years, and Gulf Coast head coach Jay Powell stopped by the small town of Covington, Georgia on his way back from a recruiting trip.
I played in a showcase game in Atlanta, and I ran into a coach at another school that knew Coach Powell. And me and Coach Powell talked on the phone for a long time, and then he came up and signed me.
Been told about him, and knew that he worked out every afternoon in a recreation center, and was able to watch him work out, and knew instantly that he was a player that could really do well here at Gulf Coast in my offensive system.
Doing well is an understatement. Gilstrap averaged more than 22 points and 10 rebounds a game for the Commodores this season, earning him a scholarship at Iowa State.
Iowa State called and said, hey, we're still looking for somebody in Brad's position. When you see somebody at another school or one of your guys, let us know, because we'd like to recruit him. We need somebody at that spot. And I said, well, I think that I've got a guy that's pretty good.
Prompting the Cyclones to send an assistant to Panama City to watch Marquez practice.
Coach from Iowa State walks in the gym, watched for about 10 minutes, and pulls out his BlackBerry and calls Coach McDermott, the head coach at Iowa State, and I hear him saying over in the corner of Rutherford's gym, Coach, this will be the best player on our team. We've got to get him.
And then they came down here one day and watched us practice, and they offered me down here at practice one day.
Gilstrap is one of 2 players on the Gulf Coast team to sign on with a major college program. The other, Brad Reese, is off to Texas Tech. In Panama City, Tim Owens, News Channel 7 Sports.
The Pittsburgh Steelers won one for the thumb back in 2006. Well, today they had a chance to win a record 6th Super Bowl championship. To Tampa we go, the Steelers taking on Larry Fitzgerald and the Arizona Cardinals. Pick it up late in the first half. Pittsburgh already leading 10-7, but Arizona on the move. And Kurt Warner is picked off by the Defensive Player of the Year. James Harrison rumbles 100 yards on the pick 6. That's a Super Bowl record. Steelers take a 17-7 lead into the half. Fourth quarter now, 2016 Pittsburgh, just over 7 minutes to play. Warner to Larry Fitzgerald. He finds a seam and gone. 64 yards on the touchdown catch and run, his second of the game. The Cardinals take the lead 23-20, but the Steelers and Big Ben have an answer. 8 plays, 78 yards, and 2 minutes, 2 seconds, ending with an amazing 6-yard touchdown catch by Santonio Holmes, dragging both feet in bounds, giving the Steelers a 27-23 lead. Cardinals with one last chance, but Warner would fumble the ball away with 5 seconds to play, and the Steelers win number 6, 27-23, the final. Well, the Gulf Coast baseball team already won the weekend series over Young Harris, trying to make it a clean sweep this afternoon over at Bill Frazier Field. Top of the third, in the Commodores, they were flashing a little leather early on. Bryce Lane getting the jersey dirty. Check out this catch out in right field. Gulf Coast still trailing, though, 3-1. Moving ahead, bottom four now 5-2. Commodores on the comeback. Will Howard, the double down the line. Lane comes in to score 5-4, but the Young Harris sticks would light up again. Not exactly a good day on the mound for the Commodores. They lose for the first time of the season, 18-7. Speaking of the Commodore baseball team, former Gulf Coast and Mosley pitcher David Herndon has been invited to the Los Angeles Angels Major League Spring Training. Herndon spent last season in Rancho Cucamonga going 3-7 with a 5.01 ERA and 17 saves in 43 games, while switching from the starter role to a closer role.
I was a little bitter when it first happened. It's about to be my turn.
Herndon spent his winter here in Panama City working out with several major and minor leaguers over at Gulf Coast. Hombre Golf Club in Panama City Beach is hosting a 16-team NCAA golf tournament tomorrow and Tuesday. Teams coming from as far away as Tennessee and Oklahoma. One team of interest, Columbus State, out of Georgia, is coached by Mark Immelman, brother of last year's Masters champion Trevor.
If young men hear that you're a Masters champion.
Columbus State is currently ranked 5th in the country. Tee times for the tournament start at 7:30 the next 2 mornings.